Hello my dear students, I am back again with another day's Hindu for the analysis. Today we shall discuss the Hindu dated March 22. I take it for granted that you would have gone through the newspapers to have the best benefit of the program. That is very essential. Read the newspapers and attend the program so that you will know things as a story. A story may be breaking today, it may develop over the period of time. Since we are covering all, you will know it as a story, and that is essential for anybody who prepares for All India exams. So let us begin with the Hindu dated March 22. Myanmar border shut amid strains over refugees crisis. So we know that Myanmar witnessed a military coup on February 1. The democratically elected government of Myanmar was toppled by the Myanmarese military. It was done on February 1, and the National League for Democracy, the ruling party of Myanmar, its leaders Aung San Suu Kyi, the state councillor, and the President Wilmant, both are under house arrest. People have been protesting on Myanmarese streets against the military occupation, and people are running for safety, running for cover. A good number of them have crossed over to Indian territories. We know that 4 states in India have border with Myanmar, and nearly 900 people from Myanmar crossed to the Indian state of Mizoram, and now the government of India has closed all its borders with Myanmar. The photograph says that an Indian policeman and a man on a bridge near the India-Myanmar border in Mizoram on Saturday. So Mizoram Chief Minister held a virtual meeting with the Foreign Minister of Myanmar amid the ongoing military crackdown following the February coup, even as India sealed all entry points along the border with the Southeast Asian neighbor and is closely monitoring them to prevent any Myanmar national from entering the country. A new refugee crisis is developing. There is huge international pressure on Myanmar, Myanmar's military, to bring back democracy. Whether the military will yield is something that everybody is looking at. A vitiated neighbor will always be a headache to our country too. Centre warns of COVID-19 spike at Kumbh. Kumbh Mela is going to take place or taking place in Haridwar, and a huge number of people will come to Haridwar these days, and it's a big chance that COVID-19 spreads fast during the Kumbh time. So nearly 10 to 20 pilgrims and 10 to 20 locals are reported to have affected with or they are affected with COVID positive. They become COVID positive every day. So it's a major threat. We know that COVID positive is re-emerging in the country. Now the number of patients have crossed 3 lakh again. Nearly 45,000 people were affected these days. Again, the daily toll is going up. The major most increase can be witnessed in Maharashtra. So, and the similar waves can be seen in other parts of the world also. The world is concerned, and it will be many months away before we can have genuine real peace. Junk inefficiency. This particular article refers to the new vehicles scrap policy of the government. The scrap policy was discussed in detail in the last couple of days. The vehicle scrapping policy is going to start on April 1, 2022. All the government vehicles and public sector unit vehicles will be deregistered, that crosses that 15 years mark, will be deregistered on April 1, 2022, and in the subsequent years the 15 years norms for commercial vehicles and 20 years norm for personal vehicles will come into effect. What Hindu cites is that the replacement must be done with fuel efficient or electrical vehicles, and it won't make sense to scrap old vehicles and again coming back with diesel petrol vehicles, because fossil fuels, their burning will pollute the environment. So if the efficiency of replacement is not ensured, the desired result cannot be had. That is what the article says. The much awaited vehicle scrappage policy announced by the Transport Ministry, coming after the move of a green tax on aging and polluting automobiles, promises economic benefits, a cleaner environment and thousands of jobs. Although it will take until 2022 April 1 for vehicles belonging to government and public sector to be scrapped, another year thereafter to identify junk heavy commercial vehicles through mandatory fitness checks, and finally other vehicles by 2024. This is what I just explained. It is a constructive roadmap. It will be no easy task, however, to put in place a credible system of automated fitness checking centers with the help from states to assess whether commercial or private vehicles are roadworthy after 15 and 20 years respectively. So the roadmap is fixed, but the challenges are very big, because it is with the help of the state governments that fitness testing centers of vehicles can be established. Equally important, enforcement will be key to get them scrapped once they are found unfit for use, and to stop them from moving to smaller towns. States must also come on board to provide road tax and registration concessions, while automobile industry is expected to sweeten the deal with genuine discounts on new vehicles. Listen, it must be a combination of giveaways from different sectors. The society is forced to give up their vehicles. Of course, there are plenty of benefits, but the society must be compensated by the automobile companies, by the government, and that too by the central government and the state government. They must be given discounts by companies, they must be given tax concessions by the government, then only a smooth passage can be ensured. Listen, automobile industry is going to benefit like anything. The Indian automobile industry is worth around 4.5 lakh crore presently, and once this scrappage policy comes into being, it is expected that the automobile industry will grow to 10 lakh crore in the next few years. So they are also going to benefit very immensely. So the society expects giveaways both by the governments and automobile industry. Please read. Rising poverty. With the spurt of COVID-19 cases, the nascent economic recovery is under threat. It's a beautiful write-up. A new study by Pew Research Center estimates that COVID-19 pandemic has had disproportionately deleterious impact on living standards in India and China in 2020. With a sharp economic contraction in the former, pushing as many as 7.5 crore people into ranks of poor, those who earn $2 or less a day. So the pandemic, and thanks to it the subsequent lockdown, has pushed too many people into poverty. They are forced to live below $2 per day. In contrast, the figure is about 10 lakh in China. In India it is 7.5 crore, but in China it is only 10 lakh, whose economy slowed but continued to post growth. In China the economy is coming back. In absolute terms, the number of poor in India is posited to have swelled to 13.4 crore, reversing the gains made in the preceding 9 years when the country cut number of poor by more than 3/4 to an estimated 7.8 crore in 2019. Listen, what all the benefits that the economy has made through different poverty alleviation program, privatization, increasing the number of middle class, all the benefits were lost in the last 1 year. So this was predicted by many economists that it would take long years for India to get back the benefits that it gained in the last 20 years. So in the last 20 years what we have made is what is lost in less than a year. So read the statistics. These are all very important pieces of information that you should keep in mind. The first question is given to you. The International Atomic Energy Agency IAEA is headquartered at Basel, Switzerland, London, England, Paris, France, Vienna, Austria, Rome, Italy. Where is it? The time is up. Please answer me. Rafael Grossi is the Director General of IAEA. IAEA is the nuclear watchdog of the United Nations. It is the nuclear watchdog of the United Nations, and its Director General is Rafael Grossi. The answer is given as Aparna has given it as 3, Anjana 4. The answer is Vienna, Austria, and that is the answer. Vienna, Austria is the answer. Okay, so our answer is the fourth option, Vienna, Austria. Iran deal could be rescued by IAEA. I shall brief again about the Iran deal. We know that there are 5 nuclear countries in the world. They are the 5 permanent members of the United Nations. They are United States of America from Americas, China from Asia, from Europe it is England, France and Germany. England, France and Russia. These are the 5 accepted nuclear powers in the world, and there are nuclear threshold countries. India, Pakistan and Israel are nuclear threshold countries because the world knows that these 3 countries have got nuclear weaponry, but still they are not accepted as nuclear powers. Now there are a few other countries slightly rogue in nature, like North Korea, an unpredictable country like Iran. They are also having nuclear aspirations, and the world understands that Iran or North Korea possessing nuclear weapons will always be a threat to humanity. So the world negotiated very hard with Iran to keep it away from building nuclear weaponries. In 2015, P5 plus Germany. What are P5? I have just told you. America, China, Russia, England and France plus Germany negotiated hard with Iran, and finally Iran agreed not to enrich weapon grade uranium, or Iran agreed not to proceed with its nuclear weaponry program. But in 2018 the Donald Trump administration unilaterally withdrew from the agreement, and Iran also changed its stance. Iran said that they would make nuclear weapons, or they would enrich uranium and to weapons grade, and America said they would impose sanctions. but there is a change in guard in US administration now, and the Joseph Biden administration has said that they would come back to the negotiating table and will invite Iran to further negotiate. And once the negotiation is done well, Iran will be placing their nuclear programs under the inspection of the International Atomic Energy Agency. So that is the benefit that the world is going to have. Their weaponry program will not happen, and even the nuclear enrichment for the civilian purposes will be placed under automatic inspection of IAEA. That is a benefit of the possible negotiations between P5 plus Germany and Iran. So let us wait what is going to happen. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, where from USA opted out in 2018, now they may come back again, and Iran in the bargain may get trade concessions. So it is going to create a win-win situation for both Iran and the world. So let us see what is going to happen. Please read. I hope you understood the essence of what I said. Please let me know whether you have understood it or not. Please, hello, excuse me, my students, my dear students, please let me know whether you have understood briefly what I explained regarding Iran nuclear deal. I am waiting your answers, your responses. If you may please say whether you have understood it or not, or if you have any questions, please raise. Where are you all? Hello. Okay, thank you. Center silent on Chinese dam projects. China in its 2021-2025 5-year plans, China has said that they would start constructing dams on the lower reach of Brahmaputra. We know that Brahmaputra, Ganga and Sindhu are 3 major Himalayan rivers, all originate in Tibet, and Brahmaputra goes through India too, and in the lower reach of Brahmaputra, which is in Tibet under the Chinese territory, Chinese government is planning to construct dams, and that is a major concern for India, because that will affect the lives of Indian people, Indian economy, and it is always dangerous also. There is a conscience against big dams in the world now, because big dams resist a natural flow of water, and that may create seismological imbalances. So that will definitely be dangerous to people who are living in the lower reach. So India, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi says that central government is silent on Chinese dam projects. What you need to understand is that China has decided to move ahead with the dam construction on the lower reach of Brahmaputra in their part of Tibet. Corrective voice from top court against stereotyping women. Of course, a judgment by the Supreme Court forbidding judges from making gender stereotypical comments came as a corrective voice from within the highest level of judiciary in India. Of course, this has been in the news for some time, judges making derogatory remarks against women, and that cannot be acceptable. That is what the judgment says. It cannot be stereotypical of women. Indian-Israeli collaboration testing oral COVID vaccine. Of course, it is only a news that will evoke some degree of curiosity among us. Nothing final. Please read. Who among the following is the president of Afghanistan? Is it Ashraf Ghani, Hamid Karzai, Muhammad Najibullah, Burhanuddin Rabbani, or none of these? Who is the president of Afghanistan? Yes, the answer is Ashraf Ghani. Mind you, Afghanistan is in the limelight for the decision of the United States and NATO to pull their forces from Afghanistan. Peace negotiations are going on in many places. There were many rounds of negotiations between Afghan government and the opposing Taliban forces. Doha rounds of negotiations were over and another set of negotiations took place in Russia. So the world attention is on Afghanistan, what is going to happen, which we discussed very much in detail yesterday. So please try to know, gather more information about Afghanistan. Pentagon chief makes surprise visit to Kabul. Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. Lloyd Austin, the defense secretary, our defense minister of United States of America, is visiting Kabul. We know that troops pullout is going to begin in from May 1. NATO and American forces, which have been continuing there for long years, plan to pull out on or start pulling out from May 1. Of course, America cannot commit their troops for unlimited times. There are concerns, but on the other side, America and the world have a responsibility to make sure that power is given to an established government in Kabul. Otherwise, there will be anarchy, and which will lead to loss of millions of lives. Afghan government wants American and NATO forces to remain there for longer time, because they will, the forces will provide an aerial shield for their administration. Third question, name the country that has been going on poll this week, the fourth poll in less than 2 years. Which country is going for fourth elections in less than 2 years? Is it Japan, Israel, South Korea, Ukraine, or Azerbaijan? The country that is going for poll, fourth poll in 2 years, less than 2 years. Very good. It is Israel. Israel is going for poll for the fourth time in less than 2 years. Israel Prime Minister is Benjamin Netanyahu. He is the Prime Minister of Israel. He has been facing charges of corruption. He is the longest serving Prime Minister of Israel with 12 consecutive years in presidency. Thousands join anti-Netanyahu protest ahead of general polls. Thousands of Israelis rallied outside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Jerusalem residence to protest his policies and premiership days before a general election that could see long-standing leader removed from power. So the world is looking at what is going to happen in the upcoming general elections in Israel. Fourth question, North Korea has severed diplomatic relations with which country following its decision to extradite a North Korean citizen to US to face charges of money laundering? Is it South Korea, China, Singapore, Laos, or Malaysia? Which country has severed its diplomatic relations with North Korea in a quid pro quo move, tit for tat move? Yes, the answer is correct. It is Malaysia. Malaysia has retaliated by asking North Korean diplomats to leave the country. Malaysia expels North Korean diplomats. North Korean diplomats vacated their embassy in Malaysia and were expelled after two nations cut diplomatic relations in a spat over the extradition of a North Korean criminal suspect to the United States. Malaysian courts extradited a North Korean citizen on the charges of money laundering, and he was extradited to the United States. This was challenged by North Korea, and North Korea cut its diplomatic relations with Malaysia, and Malaysia retaliated. South Africa clinches a thriller. This is about women's cricket. Please read. They are in India, and South African women team is playing against India. Ganemeth Sekon is a name associated with. Ganemeth Sekon is a name associated with which sport? Kho-kho, boxing, shooting, gold for shuttle badminton. What is Ganemeth Sekon associated with? Yes, the answer is correct. She is associated with shooting. She won the bronze medal in the shooting World Cup at Dr. Karni Singh Range in Tughlakabad. She is the first ever Indian World Cup in women's skeet. What is skeet? A shooting sport in which a clay target is thrown from the trap to stimulate the flight of a bird. A shooting sport. What is skeet? Skeet is a shooting sport in which a clay target is thrown from a trap to stimulate the flight of a bird, and then it is shot at. And Ganemeth Sekon won a bronze medal in the world meet, and she is the first Indian woman to win a medal in skeet, shooting skeet. Very important, take note of the name. A day to remember for Ganemeth. It was a bronze, but a significant one for Indian women, as Ganemeth Sekon won a skeet medal in the shooting World Cup at Dr. Karni Singh Range, Tughlakabad. It was the first ever World Cup medal for India in women skeet. Very important. My dear students, thank you very much for the participation. I expect you to be very regular to the program. I shall commit myself to improve this program by the day. Expect clear cut or making clarity on various topics through the program that will help you understand more things, but this program cannot be a substitute to your reading. Please ensure that all of you read very well and then come for the program. That is very important for the best benefit of the program. Please ensure that you attend our 3 o'clock session, another online session on either math, QA or reasoning. Please share the link of our program to your friends so that more people can participate in the program. And the questions that we discussed here, all the 5 questions will be available in the daily Gyan. So watch them frequently. That will also help you improve your stake in the general awareness examinations to come. Please share your comments against this program in the YouTube channel. That will be a great help and motivation to my team and I myself. Thank you very much. We shall meet again. Goodbye.